Hello and welcome to Dad Got This, where we answer the tough questions like, of all the grills that I own, which one will cook the best steak? And what cow is best known for wrapping? That one's easy, sirloin a lot. When it comes to cooking a steak, I have lots of options. I can smoke them, I can grill them, I can turbo broil them. But I was wondering, which way is gonna get me the best steak? Of all of the units that I own, what's gonna cook the best steak? So I decided to start a little battle series. And the first episode of this battle series is going to pit my Monument Grill's 605 Pro versus my Luma steak oven. I think that's what they call it. Let's see who's gonna make a better steak. But to do that, we need some steaks. Let's go see what we got. For our steaks, we're gonna use New York strips. Now, normally I am a ribeye guy. Ribeye is my favorite cut of meat. But with the ribeye, it can be tough to get the same steak, basically, over and over again. I'm not knocking New York strips. I love a New York strip. These are some great looking New York strips. They are about 1.5 inches. They are all choice grade, and I think they'll give us a good baseline for these tests. For the tests, we are going to use the same exact seasoning on all the steaks. And I'll explain why I have 3 steaks in a second. For that seasoning, we are just going to use salt, pretty coarse salt, some fresh black pepper, and my favorite thing in the world, what I call go. It is a 50-50 mix of granulated onion and granulated garlic. I like using the granulated over garlic powder and onion powder. They have a little bit bigger granule, so they kind of work better in these scenarios. It's not that I probably have to say this, but you always want to season both sides of your steak. It also never hurts to press your seasoning in a little bit and pick up some of that seasoning from the board and get the sides. As far as for the procedure of cooking these steaks, I'm gonna go with a sear then cook method, not a reverse sear. I think it's just gonna be easier from a timing wise for me. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this steak and we're gonna sear it off on the cast iron plate inside the Monument grill. A little bit of beef tallow. That is honestly my favorite way to get a sear on a steak right now. This steak, we're gonna sear on the side burner in the Monument grill, directly on the grates. Super hot, super fast, hopefully, and get a good crust. Once the 2 of these have a good crust, we're gonna move them over into the Monument grill, which is gonna be set on like a medium-low heat, and then we're gonna let them gradually come up to 125 degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius, so that they can then be taken off and rest up to our final medium rare temperature of 134 Fahrenheit or Celsius. Now for this steak, I only have one option on that turbo broiler Luma grill. I go at 1450 degrees till I get an awesome crust, and then we're gonna move it all the way down and lower the heat on the Luma grill and do the exact same thing with this one. Bring it to 125 Fahrenheit, Celsius, then let it take it off and let it rest to the 134 Fahrenheit or Celsius. Got it? Let's meet our competitors. Let's light these up and let's cook some steaks. It's been a few minutes. According to the Luma, it's already ready to go. It started its countdown already. We'll just restart that. Let's see what the Monument's at. The plate's up around 630. I got 965 on the side burner. I think these are ready. The hardest part for me is going to be able to cook and film all of these at the same time so they get done at the same time. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. We'll see how it goes. That was insane trying to cook all three of those at the same time. Right off the bat, the Luma loses. It didn't get the crust I was expecting with 1450 degrees. And in some places, I was getting like 140s, 150 almost on the steak. So I know this guy in some sections is going to be overcooked. Now, that sear burner on the side of the Monument was insane. I thought this one was going to be the winner automatically, but left on the side of that sear burner for a little while, this thing got a dark crust. If you like a really prominent crust on your steak, this is the guy, the sear burner on the side. Now, we're reading in the 125s right now, 130 over here. Yeah. Now this guy, almost the exact same temps. This steak and this steak cooked at about the exact same temp and time, believe it or not, even though this had a higher burning rate on the side burner. They seem to be about the same. I'm gonna let these rest for another 2 or 3 minutes, then we'll cut into them and see how they look and taste them and see how they taste. And see if what I think is going to be 1, 2, 3 is the winner is the winners. Time to cut into them and see how they look. Here we go. All right. I am happy with that. That's like a medium rare. Also a medium rare. Little bit more than medium rare, but acceptable. Let's take the most favorable piece here from the middle on all three steaks. Luma. Still a great steak. I would not be mad if anyone put that steak down in front of me at a restaurant. Probably better than anything you'd get at any restaurant anyway, but pretty good. Also, fantastic steak. Honestly, really couldn't tell much difference in flavor between those two steaks. If you enjoy that charred flavor, this is the steak for you. This is got a crispier texture on the end. You get those little crispy bits of char that just have that wonderful taste to them. The steak, perfectly cooked, nice and tender, no problems at all. I didn't even have to use my internal thermometer because it was so easy to just, by the time you got the crust, you put it on the side for a little bit and it came up to temp. Wonderful. The other thing where I see a big difference in steaks is we'll do just these halves. Most of this steak, I didn't get a good crust. Now, I've gotten better crusts on steaks using that method before. I don't know if it was because I didn't really have the time to give to it to really baby that crust and make sure that I was letting it sit for long enough and getting enough crust. I think this could have done better, but with how well this came out, I see no need to do that. This came out fantastic. Even when I cooked this in my last steak video and got the crust right, it didn't have those little charry bits like this does of the direct heat flame. It's more of like a fried crust. This one gives you that replicated of the charry bits of charcoal grilling. Now you can see this one, half of the steak got a good crust and the other half didn't, and the underside got nothing. By the time it was time to flip on that Luma thing, it had already come up way too much to temp. The crust wasn't great enough. I probably could have gotten it a little closer, but I still don't think it would have been kind of worth the effort. So if I were to order these in winners, I'm gonna go Luma in third place, Monument with the sear burner in first place, and then you in second place. Those are my winners. So unfortunately, in this instance, the Luma will be asked to leave the island. If you are enjoying this, do the likey subscribe stuff. YouTube loves it when you leave a like. Also, leave a comment. I answer just about every comment in my comment section. Love talking to you guys, answering your questions. If I can answer them and I know the answer, I will. If not, I'll try to do some research and get you a good answer, or at least a answer. If you'd really like to support this channel, consider becoming a member. Members get 24-hour early access on videos, they get shout outs, they get producer credits at the end. Plus, there might be some other fun stuff coming up for members here in the future. So if you'd like to support this channel, consider becoming a member. Thank you to each and every one of my members, by the way. Guess we answered the question of who wins in a steak battle between the Monument and the Luma. Monument gets the win on this one. Guess that only leaves one question to answer. Why do bulls wear bells around their neck? Because their horns don't work. Yeah, pretty bad. Dad may do steak battles, tell horrible dad jokes, but one thing Dad will never do is an outro. So that's it. Bye.
This episode of Dad Got This was brought to you by our producers. Thank you very much.